Hi students, let's continue with our discussion, that is program to read a student data as a structure and display the student information. So here we are going to read a student data as a structure and then we have to display the student information. So the student information, let's say, contains 3 members, roll number and his name and then marks. Let's define the student data structure first. Our program always begins with stdio.h, library function, and then before the main function we have to define structure data type. You know the syntax for definition, right? Struct followed by the name of the structure. Here the structure name, you can take any name. I am using student as the name of my structure, and then open the brace. Inside this student data structure we have 3 members. First one is roll number, and roll number we know that it is an integer data type, so I will declare it as int roll number. Then his name is of course array of characters, that's why it is char name. Inside the bracket we have to define the size of that array. That is the syntax for array, right? And then finally we have to declare the marks variable. So float marks. Then the definition ends here, so I have to terminate this definition with a semicolon. Now after defining the structure, I'll begin with the main function. Now the second step is to declare the structure variable. After defining the structure data type, I have to define the or declare the structure variable. Here I am taking only one variable, that is S1. So struct student S1. The syntax is struct followed by tag name and followed by structure variable name. Here structure variable name I have taken is S1. You can take any name. Struct student S1. Now in order to initialize these variables, I am using runtime initialization. In the sense, I am asking the user to enter student roll number, name and marks. Okay. Now in printf statement, I am asking the user to enter student roll number, name and marks. So he will enter the name, roll number and marks by using scanf statement. Again, while giving the inputs, you cannot change the order. You have to give the roll number first and then name and then marks. That's why only in one scanf I am going to take all 3 inputs. I am not using 3 different scanf statements here. In single scanf I can take 3 inputs. And the data type of roll number is integer, that's why I will use the format specifier as %d, and for name the format specifier is %s, and for marks it is float %f. So our mod d or %d indicates it is the roll number, right? So in order to access roll number, I have to use ampersand s1 dot roll number. I cannot use only roll number because it is not the variable of structure, it is the member. So in order to access the member, I have to specify the variable name. That's why it is s1 dot roll number. And in order to access name, again I have to use s1 dot name. Here I am not using ampersand s1 dot name because string does not take any format specifier. This we have already studied in string chapter. And the third member is marks, that is ampersand s1 dot marks. So once the user gives the input, we have to display the result. We have to display the details of the student. So details of the student, I will display these results in different printf statements. Using different printf statements, I will display these results. So for in order to print the roll number, I will use first printf statement, that is roll number of student is %d. Roll number is of type integer, that's why it is %d, then comma s1 dot roll number. Again I have to use s1 dot roll number. I cannot use roll number directly. And then in order to print this name of the student, then I would say name of the student %s, then s1 dot name. And then again in order to print marks, I would say marks of student %f comma s1 dot marks. So what is the output of this program? The first printf statement is enter the student roll number, name and marks. So the user enters the input as 101, Peter and 98.72, and these inputs are stored in roll number, name and marks respectively. And then we are going to display the details of the student. Roll number of student, it would fetch the information of the roll number of the student. Here roll number is given as 101 by the user. That's why the same result will be fetched, because we are using the same variable s1 dot roll number. That is the information of the first student, and the input of the first student is what? 101, Peter and 98.72. So the same result we will get. Name of the student Peter, and then marks of student is 98.72. Okay. So in the next lecture we are going to study array of structures.